Yes, guys, Enzo Maresca set to become the new Chelsea manager. In this video, I'm going to give my thoughts on Enzo Maresca, and I'm also going to say why this is the final straw for the new owners. And I'm not going to come at it from an entirely negative level, saying that this is 100% the wrong appointment, the ownership needs to go, Winstanley and Stewart need to be out of the door now. But I am going to address in this video why, if Enzo Maresca doesn't work at Chelsea Football Club, the first thing that needs to happen before Enzo Maresca is fired is Paul Winstanley, and Lawrence Stewart should not be anywhere near Cobham, Stamford Bridge, or anything to do with employment at Chelsea Football Club if this appointment goes tits up. And let's be honest, when you bring in a manager whose only experience is under Pep Guardiola as a number two, and then goes in at Leicester, wins the championship, but he absolutely should have done that. We've already said that to death here on GBFC. Going to give you my top end thoughts now on why I think the club have done this, what I actually feel about it. And I'm just going to throw this up on the screen now because I know a lot of you are going to say, but Benson, in your tier list video, this was a no way. And I'll tell you why this was a no way. And in terms of all of the managers on that tier list graphic that you can see up on the screen now, I don't necessarily think Enzo Maresca was the right Chelsea call, but if he's about to become the head coach, then I am going to back him. I'm going to look for the positives, and before a ball is even kicked, before the transfer window is even open, I personally don't want to go in with the mindset that it's already doomed and it's already destined to fail. I want to believe that he can get something good out of these players, and I want to discuss why certain signings like Enzo Fernandez are going to benefit from bringing the other Enzo into the club. It's not all doom and gloom. However, I will say this. I think at Chelsea, we have been so blessed with such high standards. When you think about even Italian managers that we've had in the past, Maurizio Sarri won a Europa League, Conte won an FA Cup and a Premier League, Ancelotti did the double. We have done well. Roberto Di Matteo lived in the Champions League. So there is something about Italians and Chelsea. Gianluca Vialli lifted the FA Cup for us. Absolutely brilliant stuff. So I definitely think here there is a lot of positives, even from those little top-end lines that we can take into it. But I will say this. The risk that Chelsea have taken here is absolutely massive. Everything that the club have said that they wanted from a manager for this project, which I hate, but it's the easiest way to just explain everything from the top end. Enzo Maresca does fit the bill. He plays possession-based football. Yes, a lot of that is very slow. A lot of the times when I've watched Leicester this season, it isn't that fast-paced, but it is more about protecting than supposed to going for the jugular, which I think if you were to compare De Zerbi and Maresca, that were the two front runners really, De Zerbi would be a lot more erratic. The potential to slip up and make mistakes, I think, would happen a lot more. Whereas with Maresca, it could be a slow burner, but with the technical personnel that Chelsea do have available in our side, with Caicedo, who as much as he's not known for being as technical as, say, an Enzo Fernandez, you get those two on the ball, Chelsea can really start controlling games. And I think another thing that we will learn from Enzo Maresca taking over at Chelsea, and probably one of the main reasons why he's actually become a front runner, is because you cannot really imagine Conor Gallagher in this possession-based team. Leicester were getting 65% average possession last season. I don't think Enzo Maresca is going to be banging on the door of Lawrence and Stewart saying that we want to keep Conor Gallagher. So I think Chelsea wanting to sell Gallagher, Enzo Maresca, this kind of fits perfectly into that. There's also a lot of other players that Enzo Maresca might not want, and I think the Chelsea hierarchy, as much as we focused on it being Gallagher, Chalobah, the ones being sold, and they're the ones maybe we don't want to be sold, but I think this appointment makes all of the exits a lot easier. And we've also got to take a look here at some of the comments that have been made from Enzo Maresca talking at Leicester about what his expectations were at Leicester this summer. Enzo was asked on control over transfers. No, I'm not asking for more control. Absolutely not. I'm asking just to be able to do my job that I'm being paid for. No more than that. To be fair, this fits in with everything that we have believed the Chelsea owners wanted. They wanted someone where they could bring in the players that they want to bring in for their vision of the club, whether we agree or disagree with it, what they need in order for this to all go smoothly for them. And at the end of the day, we're the fans. We get to pick up the pieces after the results happen. They didn't want someone who was going to come in, disrupt the apple cart and say, well, actually, you know what, mate? If I'm managing this team, I need this, I need that. Chelsea have got an idea as to who they want to buy, and they needed that manager to be somebody that wasn't going to kick up a fuss about it when they came in. And I feel as though that is exactly what we've got. But the risk that Chelsea have taken here, and it's why I started this video by saying, if, for whatever reason, this doesn't go well, and let's be honest, there is a possibility. I'm not even going to say how much percentage I think it's going to go wrong, because there's no point. I want to believe this is going to work. But if it goes wrong, Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart absolutely need to be leaving Chelsea before Enzo Maresca is sacked. Because it's these guys that bought in Pochettino, and it's these guys that have said to Pochettino, look, mate, this ain't going to work. Pochettino's left, and they've now bought in Enzo Maresca. And it's a massive gamble. It's a huge gamble because there is an experience there. Yes, there is a style and an identity of football that probably is the best match of all of the managers available for the profile of this Chelsea squad. And to be fair, I can't turn around and say to you, well, they've misprofiled the manager here because the players don't fit. They do. And I think that's been an issue at Chelsea for so long when it comes to these managerial appointments. Too often, you look at what these managers do, you look at the personnel we've brought in, and it is not a match. It doesn't work. And I think with Enzo Maresca, the philosophy absolutely fits the appointment and the structure that Chelsea are looking to implement. So, there's also rumours that Cesc Fabregas may well be coming in as an assistant manager. We've seen Cesc talking a lot recently about what's happening at Chelsea. And I do find it odd that Fabregas himself has come out and talked about how he was surprised about Pochettino being sacked, having sat in his office and didn't get the feeling that Pochettino was going to go. So I do find it a bit bizarre, but I do think, again, it would be a good PR move from Chelsea. But also, I think Cesc Fabregas, as another up-and-coming manager, it gives Enzo Maresca yet more footballing brains. Funnily enough, guess who Enzo Maresca's right-hand man is? Willy Caballero, Champions League winner at Chelsea, Europa League winner at Chelsea. Can he come in with Enzo Maresca to lift the trio of European trophies? We've just got to hope that he can. There is also comments that I have read from Harry Winks, who has said that he's a great manager and one of the best managers he's ever worked with, better than Pochettino, better than Mourinho. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to allow my preconceptions of Enzo Maresca to be fully swayed by Harry Winks' comments. But at the end of the day, when you see what Harry Winks' role was in the Leicester team to tactically bring things up a little bit here, Harry Winks was getting on the ball and touching the ball so often in that Leicester City team. Imagine now what Enzo Fernandez can do, being given a role where his teammates are looking for him all of the time. What we said in the Enzo Maresca setup video, Enzo Maresca always wants his players to be moving, passing into space. And Enzo Fernandez could have that same role as a Harry Winks did at Leicester. So, as much as we might be looking at this, and to be fair, as I've said many times, my top end is that it's not the most get you off your seat, shouting, screaming, this is going to be amazing appointment, but it certainly isn't something where I'm like, this is going to be rubbish. There were just other managers that I thought were a much better what I wanted to see from Chelsea. I wanted to see Ruben Amorim come in. I even wanted to see De Zerbi come in. I wanted to see Tuchel come in. And I didn't want us to go for this level of inexperience. But it seems to me like this is the way the club is going to go. And I'll say it again. As much as I don't think this is the best decision, and I'm not sure that this inexperience is going to bring us the fruits that we're expecting it to, or that not that we're expecting it to, that the ownership are expecting it to. I think this could go wrong. And as a result of that then, if we look at those at the club that are making these decisions and nothing changes before Enzo Maresca goes, then we've lost the club. That is when we have lost the football club. It's all right. We wanted Pochettino gone 2 months ago. And then he turned it around. They've gone ahead and sacked him. All right, fine. But the next appointment, after you sack Pochettino, who had a really good end to the season, that absolutely has to work. There is no way now that anybody can get away with Enzo Maresca failing at Chelsea Football Club. Because if they do, then we've absolutely lost this club completely and Chelsea are in the mud. Enzo Maresca, absolutely, no questions asked, must succeed at Chelsea Football Club. This is the final appointment now. You can't go talking about wanting to be sustainable, wanting to change the way that the club is ran and paying compensation after compensation, sacking a manager and paying him off. We have spent over 9 million on Enzo Maresca. Not the most we've ever spent to get a manager to join us, by the way, but it is still a lot of flipping money. We could have bought a 12-year-old from Argentina. I'm joking. I'm joking. Hopefully we're not going to buy a 12-year-old from Argentina with that kind of money. The deal is supposedly going to be a 2-year deal with an additional year. Could also be a 3-year deal. That is what is being negotiated right now at the time of me recording this video. There's also the positives that he's coached Cole Palmer. He's coached Romeo Lavia. He's worked with Joe Shields. Maybe this is that final piece of the jigsaw that the Chelsea owners envisaged. And look, as much as I don't fully agree, I am not just going to go down a rabbit hole of being negative about the club, being negative about the ownership, until I see that we have regressed even more on the pitch. Look, Enzo Maresca is walking into it and he's going to have a lot of Chelsea fans already, myself included, to be fair, to an extent, believing that this might not have been the right appointment. I would like nothing more than to be 110% proven wrong and Enzo Maresca succeeds at Chelsea. What does that success look like? Well, we need to finish in the top 4. If we're not playing in the Champions League the following season, then it's not been worth it, has it? It's not been worth it to get rid of Pochettino and bring in Enzo Maresca, especially when Pep Guardiola is going to be leaving at the end of next season, most likely. Jurgen Klopp is gone. There is an opportunity and a time right now in the Premier League where clubs that are challenging need to get this right. Man United need to get the right decision. Keep Ten Hag, not keep Ten Hag. What are they going to do? Liverpool, they need to know that Arne Slot is the right guy. Arteta just needs to keep doing what he's doing at Arsenal. They're going to win a league at some point. Look, there is an opportunity here that this might be the right time for Chelsea. And I'm going to hope that it is. I'm just not convinced right now. These are my top-end thoughts on Enzo Maresca to Chelsea. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, smack a like on this video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to the George Benson Football channel if you are new around here and haven't already done so. Come on, you Blues.